October Girls presents The Boglands, where we join a group of travelers traversing across a landscape far more ancient than they realize. Moist earth, the unnatural stillness of the water, towers of trees climbing into the darkness. All is wetness, water accumulating at the base of the trees with faint patches of land, dry and sodden, amongst its murky depths. A hover of mist on sodden isles, like a forgotten spirit trying to find its way home. They are lost, but they know exactly where they are. The stench of rotting wood, still water, and stale air gives it away. The Boglands. My father inherited a piece of the bog once, before the first king of Moonhaven, I believe, the noblewoman says, shattering the silence. The murmur of her ladies' maids is her only reply. The men, including her husband, sit on the boat in stoic silence. Several servants row patiently, their oars scraping against the muddy bottom of the river. They are gliding along the Vane River, due east. They are on a large boat, with the additional one trailing behind, but this one is laden with trunks and more servants. A lantern is posted on the bow and stern of each vessel, making each one easier to spot. One must wonder, continues Lady Escham, why we haven't come across it already.
One must wonder why it is impossible for you to stop asking that.
Her husband, Lord William Escham, replies as he cups a hand over his bearded face, as it begins to shine with sweat. They've been married now for just over a month, and the thrill of having a young and beautiful bride has worn off. Said bride snaps open a fan and begins to wave her raven hair, her hazel eyes narrowed. A faint glisten gathers at her neck and forehead. But really, dearest, why must we stay here of all places?
Because it is our new home, according to the king,
he says with the air of a man who has said this several times. They all jump as a splash is heard somewhere in the gloom. Ripples are seen within the mist before they settle unnaturally. Steel hisses as Lord Escham draws his sword. That sound echoes until the gurgle of the water is the only thing disturbing the silence again. Slowly, he pushes it back into its sheath as everyone looks around. But there is only nothing. Only the mist, only the mud, only the trees, hiding your view of the distance, and the river snaking around the everlasting bends.
But this will all turn into Evermeadow as soon as we reach where the rivers intersect. It's the richest farm territory in all of Harrowden,
he says confidently, trying to look at his wife. But his eyes are now darting around. In fact, everyone has hesitated, even the servants, their oars going still. They see the long shadows of the sun getting ready to set over the boglands, and despite the vastness of this space, it seems to press in.
Come on,
he says eventually, signaling for his servants to continue and pick up their oars.
Let's carry on. We should try to clear the bog before sundown.
Oh, good, says his wife, a slight quiver to her voice. I thought that thing in the water was our only new neighbor.
Don't joke,
he says, looking at his wife. No, dearest, she says, peering over the edge of the boat. There are eyes in the water. He looks up instantly, thinking she is still making a jest, hoping she is still making a jest. But all he does is sees the paleness of his face and the open-mouthed fear of her lady's maids as they too gaze over the side of the boat. One faints as she sees something, a wordless scream over her mouth. He is rushing toward them in an instant, pulling his wife back and brandishing his sword to the water. His breath halts. There, under the surface, hidden in the muck, are two glowing red eyes staring up at him. They are surrounded by the shadow of a reptilian body at least as long as the boat. They blink as the shadow is moving in the distance, disappearing amongst the muck. It turns away from him and slithers between the trees, leaving only the barest ripple in its wake.
"Welcome to the Boglands,"
he says, as his servants pick up their oars and begin to row yet again, hoping that their castle comes soon. Hello, everyone. You just got done listening to an October Girls original story